Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla and today I'm going to walk you through my June 2020 reading wrap up with a little help from Celine because she is here today hanging out. So you might see her pop in every now and then. So the first one I'm going to talk about is very, very brief because I can't say much about it. And that's the first book I finished this month, and that was Heartstopper, Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. Can't really talk too much about this just because our live hasn't happened yet, so I don't want to spoil it. I did give this, I think, 4 stars. And it's about, basically this goes through a friendship which starts butting into some other feelings and kind of coping with the aftermath of that. And I won't give too much just because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't picked it up yet. Probably unlikely because this is really popular, and I also don't want to give away too many of my thoughts because I'm going to be doing the Instagram live with my sorority sisters at some point in the next few days. Another one I finished relatively quickly is Beast Boy Loves Raven, and that's by Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. I finished this in one sitting. Obviously, it is pretty quick. It's basically the culmination of the first 2 with Raven going to try and find answers about how to control her powers and the fact that her dad is like a demon, so she's half demon. And then you've got Beast Boy, who is also trying to figure out what's going on with his powers. Sorry, my bookmark's falling out. So this kind of culminates in that, and it introduces a 4th character as well as brings back Raven's cousin, who is now sort of like her sister. So it's a really good read. I actually really liked this. I think I gave it 5 stars. It was very fast-paced. It was really fun to read, very fast-paced, and was something that I could just kind of like knock off my TBR, especially because I wanted to get to it this month because I'd already read the other 2. Next up is the bigger book that I finished this month during my 24-hour readathon, so you'll probably have already seen my thoughts, and that's The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Takshi. I loved this book. I definitely gave this one 5 stars. I do remember that. My tabs are outrageous, and I annotated the crap out of this book. I adored everything to do with this book. The Gilded Wolves is about a kind of gang, sort of, so to speak, a crew that works together to acquire certain items and then like negotiates prices for them, essentially. But the premise for this one is that Seb is trying to reclaim his heritage from his father and his inheritance that he feels that he was kind of pulled out of. And the other characters have their own motivations for working with him and what they hope to accomplish by the end. It ends up being a really cute found family story. Cute in the sense that the found family is very cute, but the story itself is very heavy and like very impactful, and I loved everything about this book. It quickly rose to being one of my favorite books of all time. I love the way Takshi was able to intermingle like pieces of history to help her world building, and for me that's so like incredible, and her writing is so good. If you haven't picked this up yet, I definitely recommend it. Next up, I finished Love in Focus by Yoko Nogiri. I finished this pretty quickly. I actually read That Wolf Boy Is Mine, the Omnibus Volume 1 and 2 earlier this year and really adored it, so I knew I was probably going to really enjoy this story. I did give it 4 stars. It's about a girl who is having a little bit of trouble because her grandpa passed away, and she ends up basically moving into a boarding house with her childhood friend who invites her to come to his school because his photography club is taught by a famous photographer. I'm going to blanket this by saying I don't know how much of it is a spoiler, so if you find like even small details spoilery, I'm just going to ask you to skip ahead to the timestamp that I'll put somewhere in here, because I don't think I can talk about this without spoiling it, because it is a manga and it's very fast, but also what I don't like about it is the spoiler. So I'll put that timestamp in. Now you can feel free to go ahead and skip ahead now that you've done that, or if you're still here. The reason this didn't get a 5-star is because I am not a fan of love triangles, or love V's, I should say, and I don't like the way that this one was done. or at least I liked the build up, and I liked the friendship that was developing between the girl and her childhood friend, and then also the other love interest. However, the ending was so fast and so like weirdly neatly tied up that it didn't feel realistic to me, especially not for people who are supposed to be in high school. It felt very clean, and I don't think that type of situation in high school students was going to be very clean. And I get that it's supposed to be a cute little like romance story, which it is, and for that it got 4 stars because it's very cute and I really enjoyed it and I loved the story for the most part, except for that. And there were like some other aspects that I feel like were kind of rushed, and those ones I won't talk about because they are major spoilers, that were kind of rushed at the end. And I don't know if that's just because limited space, but it just felt like there were points that could have been drawn out a little bit more to make the story more impactful, and that didn't happen. However, like I said, I really did enjoy this one. It is still 4 stars, and I definitely recommend picking it up if that's your kind of thing. If you like photography, or even if you just want a quick, like, little cute romance-y type thing. Last but not least is my very last read of the month. I read this on the 30th only because I wanted to fill one more page of my reading journal to kind of make it even, and I needed something quick, and I also wanted to pick it up because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I read Avatar: The Last Airbender, Katara and the Pirates Silver. This is about Katara, who gets separated from Team Avatar and has to figure out how to get out of Fire Nation territory, so she ends up teaming up with some pirates. The story ends up being very close to like a don't judge a book by its cover type of situation, and it also deals with like a kind of like heavy hitting topic about how like propaganda plays a role in how a invading nation can basically brainwash their citizens. So it's kind of like a light story, but also kind of heavier topics are included. I did actually really like this. I think I gave it a 4 star. It didn't like wow me, but it wasn't bad. Like, I love the world, and because I'm already very familiar with Team Avatar and because I'm familiar with AtLab, I was able to enjoy it a lot more. So I wouldn't recommend picking this up if you don't know anything about Avatar: The Last Airbender, but definitely pick it up if you do. It makes the story more impactful. So, really good. Definitely pick it up. All in all, I had a really successful reading month. All of these were 4 or 5 star reads. So pretty happy with how that turned out. I'm very happy that I managed to finish reading all of these books, mainly because reading wasn't really a thing for me in June because I was writing a lot more, and I also had a lot of other things that were going on in my work life and my personal life, so I had to make sure that I took care of that. But I still managed to finish 5 books and had a pretty successful month. So I'm going to take the win and look forward to seeing my July TBR, which Sarah has picked out for me. And if you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave it linked down below just so you can check that one out. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!